How's it going, y'all? How y'all doing today? Yes, sir. Now, today, I got a reaction video that, again, it was just something I found on my recommended. And I'm aware that every time I find something on my recommended, the video just ends up flopping, bro. All y'all want to see is Skibbity. That's fine. I don't really care. I want to watch this. Now, for most of you who probably aren't tapped into this knowledge because you're either new gen or, again, only watch my Skibbity toilet videos, I am a huge Danganronpa fan, like a huge Danganronpa fan. Now, I don't talk about it because the fan base is weird. I love Danganronpa. I've watched Berlizzi play the second game like 7 times. I'm not kidding, by the way. But that drew me to this, the worst character in every Danganronpa game, by a guy called Plushroom Kingdom, bro. New video, new channel I've never seen before. I wonder if he's gonna see this video. But let me preface that whatever I do say in this video is just a joke. Obviously, we have our own opinions or whatever. I just wanted to watch it because I'm interested. I want to see what he has to say. However, what I will say is everything I do say is completely factual because I'm the only person who's correct because nobody else understands Danganronpa like me. Okay, let's get on with the video.
Well, Danganronpa, the visual novel murder game that we all know and
It's
love.
about time I did
Facts.
a video on
Facts.
this series, so let's just get into it. I've
The
always
peak-
been a fan of
the peak
franchises
franchise.
that introduce all kinds of unique characters into their series, and the Danganronpa series is no exception to that.
Absolutely.
There's so many fun characters to look at and talk about in
Absolutely.
the series. Throughout the span of all 3
It's
of
so
the games,
goated. It's so goated.
Oh wait, there's 4?
What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Throughout the span
Okay,
of all
wait.
4 of the
No. I'm about to say this right now. To the people who hate UDG, I gotta defend it. I gotta defend it very quickly, bro. First of all, most people hate UDG because you're a new gen and you watched Berlin play it and then you realized he hated it, so you want to hop on that bandwagon because you want to hop on what Berlin thinks. That's number 1. Number 2, UDG is really not that bad. It's just not a killing game, which is the thing that I guess that people are more gravitated towards because that's the whole premise of the story. But in terms of the writing and what it does for the story and the world building of Dangan, it is a phenomenal story. Game, I kind of agree with you on that. The game is kind of trash.
games, the game introduces all kinds of characters you grow to know, love, and watch die. But with over
Absolutely.
60 major characters in the entire series, 16 per game, not all of these characters can be bangers. There are plenty of
Facts.
characters in the series that the fandom are not fond
Some of these
so
characters
today,
suck.
I thought it would be fun to look at who
L
I
tier.
think the worst Danganronpa character is in every mainline game, including Ultra Despair Girls, I guess. Now, obvious spoiler warning, if you haven't finished the entire series, it's
No. No spoilers, guys. There's no spoilers in this video. I promise I'll skip every spoiler. That was a lie. In fact, if you've watched up to here, you've already been spoiled on like one character's death that I just saw.
If you don't watch this video, as I will be going through spoilers for the entire series, not including
Oh my
the
gosh,
anime. And
Neil.
of course, this video
I
will
was so in love with her,
include
bro.
my own personal opinion. So if you disagree with my opinions, feel free to crash out in the comments. It's already happened before.
That's okay, bro.
Let's get
I got
right
a
into
YouTube
it,
video to
starting
crash
with
out on. I'll crash
Danganronpa
out on you in
Trigger
this
Happy
video.
Havoc. This game is a different experience unlike the others because you are getting a feel of the main premise of the game for
Agreed.
the first time. Very
Agreed.
curious about who these characters are and what they will do. And you instantly get the memo that you are going to hate Toko Fukawa for the entire game. Now, do I hate Toko as a character in general? No, because in the side game, Ultra Despair Girls, she becomes a completely different character. For the
Exact-
better. She has
that's what
more
I'm
of a
saying.
purpose and a
Toko
better sense of
becomes an
character
absolute
development
queen in
than
this game, bro.
Toko will ever have. I do consider Toko to be the worst character in Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, but only
Okay.
in Trigger Happy Havoc. So let's talk about that. First things first,
Fair.
this character is incredibly unlikable in this game. Like, along with Byakuya,
Nah,
I was
because,
waiting
okay,
for
I'm
her
gonna
to die.
tell, and he's probably gonna agree with me on this, or let me say, I'm probably gonna agree with him on this because it's his video I'm watching. Like, dude, this dude Toko is like, she's just such a freak, bro. Like, and like for no reason unwarranted. And it's like ultimate writer, like how competent are you in the presence of a killing game if your technique is you can write stories? Like,
Another thing is that aside from the introduction of her split personality, Genocide Jill, she doesn't really change or go through enough character development by the end of the game to make you care about her.
Agreed.
Now,
She doesn't
I'm not
really do
saying
much.
Every character has to go through character development, especially if they're going to survive by the end of the story. But for someone like Toko, who makes me want to gouge needles in my ears every time she talks about how she wants to have a freak fest with Byakuya, like, it
see what
makes
I'm
me think,
saying?
I feel like turning this character likable is a little more needed. And they did that, but in a completely different game. But in this game, and pretty much the entire duration of it, she is whiny, annoying,
Yeah.
and constantly accusing me of doing things I could not even begin to describe. Now, having Genocide Jack along her side makes things a lot more interesting, but at the end of the day,
Agreed.
I kind of consider her a completely different character, but it's not like she did that much to move the plot forward either. She was kind of just there for comic relief. I know some people may disagree with me choosing Toko for the representative of this game, so let's go through
I gotta go and take a look at the characters myself, bro, because I can name them off by like name, like from my head, but like I need to look at them and remember. Okay, looking at this cast, honestly, if I had to choose the one that was my actual least favorite, Toko is pretty much the worst one here, bro, because he's funny, he's tragic, he's just, oh, wait, now, hold on, what are we talking about, bro? Tafumi! What? Like, he is the exact same freakazoid, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. I'll never forget some of the lines that they've given this man, bro. He considers himself a genius because he reads manga, bro. And then falls in love with the AI of a guy, which wouldn't be a problem if he liked guys, but he likes that freaking princess girl, who, guess what, looks like she's 5 years old. Yeah, no, it's a Fumi for me. It's a Fumi for me.
Her, but she feels very disconnected from the original cast, obviously because she was working with the mastermind of the killing. But I wish we got to somehow see more of her original character in this game instead.
I think that was the point.
I hated seeing her in the anime. You all know why.
Byakuya also would have been mentioned,
I think Mukuro's whole point was that she wasn't supposed to contribute much into the story, because the whole thing is that Junko's plan was going too well. She was like, let's shake things up a bit, and then killed her sister.
The thing about him is that the game gives you a character to hate through your gameplay, and I feel like,
oh my god, I used to hate Byakuya so much when I was a kid.
He was never
I used to hate him,
really loved,
but I love him now.
But I never really had a reason to hate him either. Aside from
he's a weirdo. Hifumi is the weirdest one here, bro.
I will say I slightly dislike him for. Now that we have Trigger Happy Havoc out of the way, let's move on to Super Danganronpa 2.
The best one! Dangan 2, the best Danganronpa.
And I've got to say, this is probably the most likable cast.
Absolutely it is.
I don't actually hate any of these
Absolutely it
characters.
is.
Like, none of them. I have two contenders for this game, however, the first one being Hiyoko. Now, I have grown to like
oh my god, bro. Oh no, I can't even talk about how much I hate Hiyoko, bro. I hate Hiyoko with a burning passion. Do you guys, bro, when I was originally watching this game for the first time ever, I had a rule where I would tell myself I would not look up a character's name because I was scared if I would find out if they died before, you know, I knew. I looked up Hiyoko's name like immediately after chapter 1, bro. I didn't give a damn. And when I saw this right in front of my screen, bro, I was jumping for joy in my room, bro. Tears rolling down my eyes, fell to my knees, bro. LeBron James picture. It was glorious. It was, oh my god. I couldn't wait for that moment, bro. And then I find out freaking Mikan did it, and I was depressed because I was in love with her. Mind you, I was like 14, 15 when I first saw this game, so like, allow me, okay?
And a lot of the funny things she says during the trials and gameplay and whatnot. But
she's not funny, bro. She's not funny.
Yeah, I hate her a little bit. The main thing being annoying with this character is that she always
You're telling me I've watched this game 7 times and I've hated her every single time, bro? That's not an issue of watching. She just sucks!
For Mikan. She says horrible things to people and doesn't face repercussions.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying.
When she gets burned. I also just remember her being infuriating during chapter 2.
And she smelled, bro. And she smelled. She was musty as hell. Are we gonna forget about that? Bro, bottom tier character. Bottom tier character. She sucked, bro.
I'd say she adds a ton of value to the game as a whole, especially as a character. Now,
I will say she was funny in the anime. I will say she was funny in the anime.
This doesn't mean that I still don't like Hiyoko. I think she's great in my humble opinion.
I think she's
really funny
pathetic.
And out of pocket.
In the anime, she's alright,
talk about how well designed she is. This is probably one of my favorite designs in the game. Okay, I'm getting off track and I'm being positive. This is supposed to be a negative video. The other character from Danganronpa
that Monokuma picture is so cursed.
Was the ultimate imposter. I also consider him to be one of the worst characters in this game. I don't dislike the ultimate imposter or the imposter Byakuya in this game at all, but he falls under the same problems as Mukuro Ikusaba, but like, it's even worse this time because
Is that not the point? Is that not the guy who has no history on him, not even his gender is revealed, his age is revealed, height, weight, blah 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 blah, none of that is aware to us. We know nothing about, bro. And suddenly we're surprised that there's nothing to go off with him, that there's no room for development. We don't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is.
In this game specifically, you know nothing about him. It also doesn't help that he
point.
Dies first. The whole
That's
thing
the point.
with this
That's the
character
point.
has always confused me a lot.
He
and
served
why
his
they didn't
purpose.
Just explain it in game.
I feel like when it comes to characters like Ultimate Imposter and Mukuro and whoever they'll discuss in V3, but I'm pretty sure I know who he's gonna talk about. Like, people forget that not every character needs to have the same arc. characters need to serve a purpose so that they can fit the circle of what a story is. If every character is playing the same role, let's assume it's a pie chart, right? If every character is playing the same role, then there's only one flavor in the pie. There's not multiple, which allows for the story to be more fleshed out, which allows for it to be more real. That's what the Ultimate Imposter allows for the story to do. That's what Mukuro allows for the story to do. It allows it to flesh out a little bit more. And another thing I wanted to mention now that I'm editing this is that Byakuya's whole thing, or at least Ultimate Imposter's whole thing, was the fact that he looked like Byakuya, which tripped everybody who's played the first game because the first game had a Byakuya, right? Which again ties to my point that all the Ultimate Imposter did was fulfill his purpose and then die. He did what needed to be done.
Instead of making him appear in the anime, I know they talk about the fact that he's the ultimate imposter, but there's a lot of loose ends tied up by the time I'm finished with this game with the character. I don't know who this is. I just feel like the whole ultimate imposter thing in this game specifically could have been handled a little better and be made more significant to the game as a whole.
I'm not gonna say he's wrong. I just have my own takes
from this game being Teruteru Hanamura. I personally like Teruteru mostly because of his design, but I know characters like this can be a bit too much for people. Like
Teruteru is a freak. Teruteru, I don't know, bro. Maybe it's his backstory, because the moment I found out he was doing what he was doing for his mom, I got all like warm inside. Like I felt that internally. Like I would do the exact same thing. But I don't know, bro. This guy was he was like a freak fest, but like the funny kind of freak fest sometimes. Like sometimes he was doing way too much. Do y'all remember the episode where they were doing the banana and the donut? Him and Kazuichi?
So, I mean, they really didn't need to make him a pervert. As for his backstory,
I agree.
And his
they didn't need to do that much.
Pretty
like
good.
they did
We're
way
not
too
here
much.
to talk about good characters. This is a negative video.
Before I move on, I'd just like to encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers.
I got you, bro. I got you. This is a W video. I got you with that subscription, bro. And notifications. I got you.
Please. I also have a Danganronpa series myself on the channel where I use my plushies to make my own kind of Danganronpa series.
Oh, he's
as
black?
well as some animations I've made on my
I
animation
probably could have
channel.
told that from the avatar, but you know.
All right, I'm done begging for you guys to check out my other things. Let's go on with the video.
The next game we're obviously taking a look at is Danganronpa Ultra Despair Girl. I know.
Oh wait, before we even move on, let me. I gotta talk about the actual worst character in Danganronpa 2, Mahiru, bro. Mahiru Koizumi. I'm not even gonna unpack that. I'm just gonna leave y'all with that answer. I'm not gonna unpack it.
A lot of people decided to skip over. So if you haven't played Ultra Despair Girls, well, first of all, good. This game isn't bad, it's just not as good as the 3 mainline entries. If you don't want to get spoiled on anything regarding this game, skip
somewhat.
to this timestamp.
I will be the only Danganronpa fan to say this, and I know that. I genuinely believe that out of every single game in the Danganronpa franchise, Monika Toa is the best villain. For what she represented in the story and what she was trying to do and how close she was to succeeding, bro, Monika trumps all of them. Monika literally beats every single one of them.
It's filled with all kinds of interesting creatures. Most of these characters are like a 50-50 split between whether they're like really terrible and unlikable or just simply not that bad. But like, surely there isn't a character that's said or done something so bad that they've been disliked by an entire fan.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Haiji Toa, bro.
Haiji Toa is one of the main characters you'll find later in Ultra Despair Girl. And when I say
this guy
later,
sucks.
I mean like 2 chapters in.
He's actually, bro, Haiji Toa is such a baby, bro. I'm gonna let him say it, but bro, Haiji is a baby.
Talked about when it comes to this character, and it's the fact that he says this. I don't know why or who thought it was a good idea for.
Right, why did he say that? Why would he say that?
Avoidable. This is so avoidable. This character being a PDF really makes him easy to hate. But straying away from that topic, like, I don't remember anything about this guy. Aside from the fact that he was like, yelling at me
I've watched
for
this game like 4
40
times.
minutes telling me to break a controller. I get enough of that from my brain when I'm playing Smash. I don't know. I feel like this character isn't really worth talking about. I didn't enjoy him that much. As far as honorable mentions go, I'm gonna go with
look at him. Look at his face. Look at his face, bro. So you're telling me he's a and he looks like that, bro? He probably is the one. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. Nope, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. Like, this guy spent his whole career hiding, and then the moment some teenager gives him like this little speck of hope, is now demanding we do something for his benefit. Are you serious? And then after we beat the freaking Big Bad Monokuma, he gives up again. Bottom 1 Danganronpa character, period. I actually hate him more than Hiyoko, and I hate Hiyoko, bro. Like, I cannot stress how much I was jumping for joy.
As far as honorable mentions go, I'm gonna go with Monika and Jotaro. They were both just really annoying and unlikable antagonists. I can tolerate.
So everyone played Ultra Despair Girls with their eyes closed then. I'm the only one who saw how genius of a character she was? It was just me. I'm the only one. And nobody else understood it. Okay, got it. Jotaro, I understand, I guess, because he was just an annoying dude. And that was part of his character, which is why I don't hate him. But, like, he's not a favorite, bro. Like, he's just there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he served his purpose, is what I'm saying. Monica is literally, like, the genius of this whole thing, bro. Oh, my gosh, bro. Do I gotta make a whole video essay on why Monica Toa is actually one of, like, the greatest villains ever?
Rate the other members of the Warriors of Hope, especially Masaru, my goat. But these two make me want to light
But
my
Masaru's your goat.
But oh, wait till I get to Kurokuma. Yes, I'm counting the little animatronic animals found in this.
Oh my god.
Kurokuma might actually be my least favorite Danganronpa character.
I love
Kurokuma.
Kurokuma.
He's so annoying.
I love Kurokuma,
Not even like a
bro.
funny annoying like Monokuma. This guy just talks and he doesn't shut up. Serves literally
that's so true, though.
to no purpose
that's
in
true.
the plot
That is true, though.
At
That
least
is true.
Kurokuma had a purpose. Like this guy was just here for no reason. The only
Okay, hold up. Let me shut down that take right now. Now, obviously, I know he's probably seen this, but we figure out at the end of UDG that the plot twist is that Kurokuma and Shirokuma were both Junko AI at the same time. Kurokuma was just there to watch the kids. Shirokuma was just there to watch the adults and incite the riots amongst the humans and the kids. But the thing is, Shirokuma didn't really do anything with that. That was kind of Monica just toying with Komaru, and then, see, this is why I'm saying Monica's like the greatest one. So Kurokuma was there for a reason. He was just like annoying, I guess. The other thing is, I never played UDG, so I never had to sit through the dialogue. If I wanted to, I could skip something. I never did, but I could. So if someone's gonna say they hate Kurokuma, I'm gonna be like, yeah, real, I feel that, but like he was funny to me.
The thing I could possibly say about him is this design's kind of hard. I can't. But it doesn't justify anything. Every time he started talking, I wanted to boil my face alive. Not even worth talking about. I think we can just move on to Danganronpa V3 now. Danganronpa V3 happens to be the final mainline Danganronpa game.
Another
I'd say
peak
most of these
game.
characters do a good job.
It's so
of doing
good.
what previous ones.
I ain't gonna lie though, I didn't like it originally, but it's good.
Most people consider V3 to have the worst characters in the franchise, or at the very least, the weakest cast of characters.
Yeah.
I can see where they're coming from. I
Yeah,
have two
that's
honorable
real.
mentions, or literally just secondary picks, honestly. Angie Yonaga, the ultimate artist.
Oh
this
my
character
gosh.
falls short compared
She
to the rest
pissed
of the
me
cast
off.
for a lot of reasons. Which is a
She
shame,
pissed
because
me
I
off.
think this design is cool, and Angie can actually be
Her design
pretty
is
funny
fire,
at times.
though.
But like,
And she's like,
mention Atuo
she's hot.
one more time and see if I don't bitch slap you across the face. Her annoying
Right,
moments
bro?
can very easily outweigh her good. She's manipulative, repetitive, off topic, and she was so into what was probably the dumbest Danganronpa motive of all time. I think it's cool that she's a character that tries to steer the plot in another direction and everything. But when she's the first victim to die in the third chapter, it kind of makes you wonder what the point of it all was. I can say with confidence, however, that I enjoyed her more than our next candidate, Tenko. Tenko Chabashira is as one-dimensional as one-dimensional.
bro, I
characters
used
can
to.
get. I mean, it feels like they ripped
let me tell you, I used to hate Tenko so much. Oh my gosh, because all she was on was male tip. She was just going crazy.
out of this monstrosity. Tenko ends up coming off as a very lame and annoying character who doesn't really do much for the experience in general. The only good thing I can maybe say about her character is that she helped Himiko get some character development by the end of the game.
Oh my gosh, Himiko, bro, I used to hate Himiko, but after playing the game a second or third time, I think it was, bro, her entire character shifted for me. She's one of my favorite Dangan characters now.
Her dialogue is annoyingly repetitive, and she does very little to grow out of her bad character traits. But Angie and Tenko do not compare to the Monica. They all suck, all of them. They're all bad. I hate Monodam the least, but none of these characters serve any purpose to the story whatsoever.
I ain't gonna lie, that's real. That's so real.
These characters are literally just here to talk and
that's so real.
Be extremely off topic. And
yeah,
no, I can't call this comedic relief when things like this are happening. They engage in literal incest, ruin all of the executions,
that did happen.
Magically revive themselves at the end of the 5th chapter.
Oh, that pissed me off.
What's
that
even
pissed
worse
me off.
is that these characters actually
that was one of the reasons I didn't like V3
away from Monokuma, which hurts, literally, because they're painfully unfunny. I feel like I could have liked them a little more if they weren't made so annoying, but I prefer any of them whatsoever and thanked God when they all died. And for our last character to be mentioned in this video, we have none other than Tsumugi Shirogane. It's no question that with Danganronpa V3's very controversial ending, Tsumugi Shirogane is a very controversial character.
Hey, I'm gonna say right now, the V3 ending, that's the perfect Danganronpa ending if they do not make another Dangan game. If they make another Dangan game, V3 is the worst game of all time.
Obviously, Chapter 6 spoilers ahead, Tsumugi ends up being the mastermind of the third killing game, which is actually the 53rd killing game. All that aside, Tsumugi happens to be the final villain in Danganronpa, and I can't say she's a very good. First of all, and I can't even
agree she's the worst out of them.
Up until Chapter 6, Tsumugi is genuinely the least interesting character of all time. The game and
I gotta defend her again. That's the point. If you take a look and analyze Tsumugi's character for like 50 seconds, you'll understand what I'm talking about, which is why I'm gonna do it for you. Tsumugi, down to her roots, is a character who's a fan of Danganronpa, so much so that she wants to perpetuate the game and have that feeling of despair and then translate it later on into hope, which goes into another killing game. She wants that to be felt throughout the entire world by everybody, including the watchers. Hence why Kibo is a character who's played by the actual audience. So you take somebody who's the fan and the mastermind of this now new related project of Danganronpa, and you ask yourself, what would the mastermind do in this scenario? Well, what has the mastermind done in every other scenario? Laid hidden, laid low, did nothing until the final part where they needed to reveal themselves. Tsumugi just followed the same script as every single villain. Junko didn't show up until the end of Dangan 1. The Azuru Kamakura reveal didn't show up until the end of Dangan 2. Tsumugi didn't need to reveal herself until V3.
Dialogue makes this very clear actually, because she keeps going on about how plain she is. So why even make this character a villain? And if you wanted this character to be a villain, why not set them up to be an actual significant part of the entire story? I feel like just that simple change would have made Chapter 6 a little more interesting. But the main problem with Tsumugi is that throughout the entire game, you have zero reason to care about her. Her design is bland, half of her dialogue is just filled with references that literally
and I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, that's the point. That's a horrible take. I literally just explained to you why that's the point. So it's like what are we doing here, y'all?
And even her personality as a character has nothing unique to offer. She just exists until she becomes the mastermind. And once she is the main focus, she lies and repeats herself over and over again. Sure, she plays a major part in revealing the big twist of the game, but she doesn't do anything as a character. Why should I give her
not supposed to
when she reveals herself to be the mastermind? Why not actually make her a character we get close to throughout the game? She is literally there for
I do see where he's coming from though. Because that would have made it a little bit more like revealing. Because when it was revealed to me that Tsumugi was the mastermind, I was like, oh wow.
Entire game. Why does it take 40 hours of gameplay for her to actually become a character? Not a good one, by the way, just the character. Okay, I think I've rambled on far enough. And my final answers for the worst character in each Danganronpa game.
Wait. I need to do my worst character in V3. Honestly, from what I remember, my least favorite has to be Kokichiyama. He sucks. Is what I would say if I was absolutely stupid and I couldn't read and I was blind and I was stupid and I was dumb and I never played Danganronpa V3 in my life. Because my real least favorite is Angie, bro. Get her out of here. Oh my goodness, she was so annoying.
I think I've rambled on far enough. And my final answers for the worst character in each Danganronpa game are Toko Fukawa for
valid take,
the ultimate imposter for
absolutely
Danganronpa
absurd
2,
take,
Hirakuma
but okay.
For Ultra Despair Girls,
fair enough.
Haiji Toa if you want
100% agree,
and
100% agree.
Shirogane for Danganronpa.
I disagree with that one, but fair enough.
Are so very close. I think that should wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys
W video. I'm gonna say it right now, y'all. Go and sub up to Plushroom Kingdom. This was a great video. I really liked it. Plushroom Kingdom, let's do a collab, bro. You know, Danganronpa fanboys, black, like we pretty much already have two things in common. Practically brothers at this point, if you ask me. But anyways, yeah, thank y'all for watching. I'm see y'all in the next video, and until next time, peace.